I'm Chef Jeff, and welcome back to Fancy Pants Pastry. That's our little guy right up there. In video number 4, we showed you how to make a pastry cream. Well, about the second most important thing you can learn in pastry making is a ganache. Now I'm going to start this ganache, and then while it's cooking up, I'll explain more about ganaches. Can you swing over here, hon? We're going to be using a very simple ganache today, and a very inexpensive one for you to do in your own kitchen. Use 6 ounces of milk, not cream. Now 6 ounces almost fills up a cup, but it's not quite. So there's a difference between solid volume and liquid volume. So when it says 6 ounces, weigh it. You got 6 ounces of milk. This is 2%. Use either whole milk or 2%. No skim and no 1%. Put it in your pan and turn it on medium-high. Add 1 stick of unsalted butter to it. Never use salted in pastry making. Always unsalted. While that's cooking up, the chocolate I'm going to be using today is Ghirardelli. This happens to be the bittersweet. Bittersweet and semi-sweet are almost interchangeable. Bittersweet has more of a pronounced chocolate, but it also has a little more pronounced bitterness to it. The semi-sweet, as I said, is almost interchangeable. You can use Ghirardelli, you can use Nestle. Ghirardelli is a slightly better quality, and I'll talk about quality in just a minute, and different types of chocolate. This is 12 ounces of chips. Pour them into a bowl, and just let them sit while this is cooking up. So again, review, we have 6 ounces of 2% milk, 1 4-ounce stick of unsalted butter. They're melting up together in the pan, warming up. And we have 12 ounces of chocolate chips here. Now, once this gets going, you'll see the process of how you make a very simple ganache. This is a ganache that you can have at home all the time. There are 1,000 different ways to make a ganache. I normally use different chocolates. I mix my own. I use Belgium, I use Swiss, I use French. I use a lot of Valrhona chocolate, which is very expensive. At home, most people are not going to have that type of chocolate available. And most people are not going to have cream available, because every chef will tell you to make a ganache with cream. But if you use milk and use butter in it, that substitutes the butterfat that comes in the cream. You can get a very, very close facsimile of ganache. And only a very sophisticated palate will really tell the difference. So this is something that you can always have on hand at the house. You can have your milk, keep unsalted butter, keep a pound of it around, or at least 1 or 2 sticks, and a bag of chips. And when it calls for ganache, this is how you can make it up real fast. Now, make sure before you complete this that the butter is all melted. It'll take just a couple of minutes. And right now we're going to put the ingredients list up. You can watch it here. Okay, make sure you write those ingredients down. Now, the butter is all melted. Watch it closely, because once this starts to foam up, it'll come right over the sides of the pan. As soon as it starts to foam up and come up the sides of the pan, there it goes. Shut it off and pour it right over the chocolate chips. At this point, you may want to run cold water in your pan, because milk has a habit of sticking real bad and being very hard to get out of pans. Run cold water and let it sit for a few minutes. You take the dish, has the chocolate chips in it, just drop it a couple of times like that. That makes sure the cream or the milk gets to the bottom of the chocolate. Now, there are even differences in methods on how to do this preparation. Some tell you to wait 5 minutes. I prefer to start immediately. Take your high heat spatula, put it in the center, and just start to stir very gently from the center out in a spiral, and then do it again. It takes a few moments to do it, but it's going to turn from a milky mess to what looks like coffee cream, and then it starts getting a real chocolatey quality. Can you zoom in on this over here? Can you tilt down and picking that up? Okay. As you stir, it's going to get thicker and more of a dark chocolate.